Good evening. Oh, sorry. Good evening. Sorry, we've got to pay tribute to a certain manager over at Villa, haven't we? So good evening, everyone. Hope we're all right. Tonight we are here to talk all about a small match, just a little match. Manchester City versus Real Madrid, you know, pre-season friendly and all that, behind closed doors. And we brought out some new people tonight, someone who have been trying to get on the channel for ages and ages and ages, but he didn't have his DMs open, so I had to go through other means. Good evening, Nobbins. How are you, mate?
Hello, Martin. I think if I actually, Martin, I think you'll find I actually asked for your number.
Yeah, I know. I was asking LB, you were asking LB, and we were trying to do the same thing at the same time.
There we go. Yes, thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure and a privilege at the same time.
It is. No, thank you for being on. And Sai, how are you, mate? Thank you for coming back on.
I'm good, and yeah, thanks for having me back on.
Oh, it was a pleasure, mate. Obviously, Tone, you know from Twitter. Well, he's everywhere now.
Expanding.
The man's everywhere.
Worldwide.
I've been told that. I mean, yeah, poor you for seeing my ugly mug everywhere. But thanks for having me on, Martin. Much appreciated.
Pleasure, mate. And of course, Pat. Anyway, swiftly moving on. No, good evening, Pat. Good morning to you, mate. How are you?
Oh,
he's not
saying. I'm here to talk about Madrid.
Business.
See, Pat's been like this ever since he started going on other shows. He's getting like really sort of thing with me now. He'll be handing in his resignation soon.
I won't be allowed to though, because you run a secret dictatorship here, don't you?
Yeah, I am a hard. I am your boss. Do as you're told.
Anyway,
good evening to everyone within the chat. Good evening, Michael Fina again, always there to help and support. You are amazing. Thank you so much, mate. FIFA's in the house. Tom is with us as normal. Mingy Wong is with us. Good evening, mate. Hope Cal plays. I think we're going to talk about certain Cal Walker as well. Because we know Nobbins loves to talk about Cal Walker. Absolutely loves it. Good and bad. If it's 2-2 Wednesday night, goes to extra time and penalties, who's taking them? I don't care because my heart ain't going to be taking a penalty shootout on Wednesday night. No chance. Yusuf, our resident Liverpool fan, just says congrats on the double treble. See you guys next season.
Capitulation.
Is it only City fans who are saying the title's not won? Because everyone else is giving us the title now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. That's a good thing because it means the City artist is still alive and well.
Just a week ago, it was the most exciting title race in the history of the universe. Now suddenly City are at the top. It's like, boring. Just end it now. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah. Well, apparently we're a bag of crap, aren't we? And we're not the same city, and we signed poorly and everything else, and I don't know anymore. I give up. I get in trouble when I say anything anymore. I got killed last night after the beach show. Everyone came
well, Martin, two things can be right at the same time.
Here we go. I knew someone was going to mention the Cole Palmer loving. I knew it was coming.
Yeah. We're going to get he's now 19 goals. He's only one behind Haaland.
Yeah, one behind.
Is he just one? Is he? Christ.
Yeah, and 9 assists. How many penalties? 8.
Yeah, there'd be a few there, wouldn't there? Yeah.
But BB's
got scored.
Between him and then Morgan Rogers yesterday, our academy products are shining.
Yeah,
shining.
Good to see.
Nobbins saying hello to everyone. Big Morgan, how are you, mate? Yes, thank you. My father is doing a lot better. Well, better as before, which is good. So you're not getting rid of me that easily. Sai saying yalla to everyone. Cole, Connor's talking about Cole Palmer. Has to come back to City. I love that. I love that we do that. I keep saying it with the most sentimental fan base in the world of football. And it makes me laugh how sentimental we all are. Rose, hello. How are you? DC, how are you? Connor's just saying hello. Formidable. Punet is in the building. Majoyce is here. Pardo Oaks, good evening, mate. Sorry, my WhatsApp's going off again. He only flew in the village. How are you, mate? And what we'll do is, anyway, we're all here. I'm going to go through all your comments because there's loads of you. You're all legends. Please give that thumbs up, massive smash. There's already 100 of you here, which is amazing. Big up to you all. So, yeah, Manchester City, Real Madrid. Nobbins, I'll start with you.
Hello.
Chipping us going, boys. Don't worry about it. More very relaxed on here, as you know. So, and Pat is always relaxed. How are you feeling? What are your initial thoughts going into Wednesday night?
I'm feeling good, to be honest. I thought the result in Madrid was fantastic. Avoiding defeat at the Bernabeu was a necessity. We didn't need to win that game. I know we had the lead, and it's a bit of a shame we didn't hold on to it. But I don't think winning was a must at all. I mean, our records in Europe speaks for itself. We haven't lost a knockout game in Europe at home since 2018, and that was under dubious circumstances against Liverpool. We're good in general at home. I think the last time we lost at home in general was against Brentford, which was, 2 years ago now? 2022, I think.
I'm not laughing at you, Nobbins. I'm laughing at Pardo Oaks.
No, of course, yeah. So honestly, and also you got to bear in mind that in terms of like the makeup of the squad, unless there's any new injuries I haven't been told about, City's are going to be in a better state because we're going to have Kyle Walker back, and Real Madrid are going to be in a worse state because there's no Tchouaméni because he decided to get booked within 10 seconds like a fool. So
it didn't take him long.
No, yeah, it was like I must not get a yellow, and they just forgot that instruction immediately. As did Bellingham and Vinicius, and Camavinga, who also all should have been booked, in my opinion. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, to be honest. We should be confident. If I was a Real Madrid fan, I'd be very nervous. But yeah, I think the main, I'm sure we'll get into it. The main weakness that we saw at the Bernabeu, in my opinion, we're not going to see on Wednesday because of hopefully the inclusion of Kyle Walker with his very specific skill set. So yeah, I'm feeling as good as you can be, to be honest. I think we'll win.
Go on. Anyone else? Just chip in, boys. Don't have to.
Well,
yeah,
for starters, we can't play a single Champions League match without scoring 3 goals. So as long as we keep doing that, I think we'll be fine. Good night, everyone.
Fancy it. Yeah. Yeah, I fancy
I'll tell you what, good
it.
things come in threes, mate. That's what we've been doing every single match day in Europe this season. So, yeah, we keep that going.
Yeah, why not?
It's a crazy stat, by the way, too, to have that consistency. It's just remarkable.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Also, when you look at it with us having trouble scoring goals this season, haven't been a problem in the Champions League, and I also think that's why many of us has been saying throughout the season that we looked more like winning the Champions League again than actually winning the league, due to how we've been playing and not losing away from home. But yeah, I'm feeling confident going into the game, full squad. I went to Madrid to watch the game, and being there, I experienced, as I've told with LB and Tone, that aura of Real Madrid fans having that no matter who they play, they will just win because they're Real Madrid, and having that belief in themselves. I didn't feel they had that against us. Walking around, talking with people down there, which is a massive credit to us as a club and as a team. Like instilling that fear into Real Madrid is, I think, very few teams throughout the history have done that. So, and all the Real Madrid fans I know they don't believe they're going through. So, I mean, it's up to us now. I feel confident.
They must absolutely despise us because I don't know. I know our head-to-head record is better. I don't know how many clubs who've played, like at least 6 games against Real Madrid have a better head-to-head record against them. It must be very few clubs. So they must be pretty sick of us, to be fair. And as you say, like they did all they could do in respect of making the game as hard as they could for us. It was like the most attended game at the Bernabeu ever. Everyone wore white. They asked UEFA to close the roof to try to make it a cauldron, something like that. And so that's how scared that little Manchester City have made European superpowers biggest club in the world, Real Madrid.
What was the roof meant to do? What was the roof meant to do? I'm a bit lost.
Just build the atmosphere, increase the noise.
Amplify the sound.
Yeah.
NFL teams do it. They close the roof to get the sound up.
Yeah, I loved it when their roof scored the equaliser. That was my favourite. That was my favourite moment of the game. When the roof, last minute winner. Yeah. It's a we
Yeah, that roof is a super sub. Yeah.
They brought on the 12th man, the roof.
Yeah.
That we paid for, by the way. Don't forget.
Yeah. I say this all the time about Real Madrid that we paid.
People don't realise that. Yeah.
You know,
I'm confident though.
Sheikh Mansour funded it. Yeah, was always
technically
like majority funder for it. Yeah.
It's our roof, and we'll decide whether we close it or not, or we get our money back.
So it should have been, yeah.
I mean, people are already asking about the big one, which I'm just going to bring up now. I just really throw in LB. Thank you, mate. You are so generous across a lot of city channels, and I do appreciate that, mate. Goldbridge is truly obsessed with us. The man is blaming us for Liverpool and Arsenal music. Yes, and there is 115 is now coming back out, so Nobbins, get ready to get pieces going, mate. Apparently, the Daily Mail have another exclusive coming out. It's always an exclusive when we go top of the league or we hit a final or some sort of semi-final. These exclusives appear. And it's everything that was regurgitated back in the Cass case usually. Like you'll notice something. It's like that £30 million payment that suddenly was in that documentary. It was already discussed at Cass and sorted out. But it was rejigged and made it look like it was a new piece of evidence.
Like, but they keep on about the what's it bloody called? The like sponsorship inflation stuff, which has already been okayed by the UEFA and the other panel, so I can't remember who it was.
Cass.
So of course, you just said as well, Cass. So they keep bringing up this stuff. The problem is the idiot reading the paper will believe it. So if you go and talk to someone who just picks up the newspaper, they're going, "Yeah, City have done that then," and that's how word spreads. And idiots like that Forest fan Goldbridge spread the word, and unfortunately, a fair few people watch that numpty. I don't know.
Well, these two clubs. One has actually been found guilty of FFP, and the other one has also been guilty of PSR. So, he's fighting a battle on two fronts right now. So I think that's why he's just going. He's baring his teeth and trying to go in on City in any way he possibly can.
Yeah, someone from the MEN, I can't remember, one of the United correspondents has had a go at him today, saying he's not even a United fan, so why is he getting involved? So I can't remember his name. I can't think who it was.
Tom Betts, come to you on this, because this is the big one that I think everyone's going to talk about, as well as Tom has asked the same question about Ake or Gabardio, which I knew was always going to come up. Kyle Walker benched. I think Kyle Walker be benched and will only play if needed and saved for the FA Cup. I disagree with that. If Walker's fit and he's been training for the past 2 days, rock him out.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I think everyone saw in the first half of playing Madrid away that we needed Walker. Like, I think the team handled it very well, and their goals wasn't down to not having Walker, but having Walker just allows us to do so much more. And we have to attack this game, and having Walker will allow us to press further up the pitch, maybe move 10, 15 yards further up. And I also think it has a damper on Vinicius Jr. if he plays against Walker. I think that takes some of his courage, but takes some of the, how do you say it? It takes something from him. He doesn't believe in himself against Walker as much as he's done against any of the other players he could face. So yeah, I'll risk him. I definitely would. I think this is the most pivotal game where we need Walker for the rest of the season. I do think we need him against Chelsea as well. But all season we've been saying Walker is a man for specific games, and Real Madrid, it can be. There's no other more specific game than Real Madrid. So yeah, risk him, take a chance, and go full send it. Play Walker, don't bench him.
Yeah, 100%. I've been a massive critic of Kyle Walker this season, and in my opinion, that was correct criticism. I think he has been our worst player, to be fair. But he is, as I said, he's a very specific tool for a very specific opponent, and that very specific opponent is a pacey left-sided player, i.e. Vinicius, Mbappe, Rashford. Those are the sort of opponents that he thrives against, like the wingers who rely more so on like creating that massive amount of space to run into. And we saw that on full show in that first half. Well, for their goal as well. Like we just pushed up so high, and Kanji, it's not his fault, didn't have the recovery pace to get back and deal with it. So yeah, and also in my opinion, there's a question mark of, you rush him back, will it detriment him later in the season? I don't think that he's going to be used or should be used that much later in the season anyway. In my opinion, Akanji's like the better general right back anyway. I don't know if we're going to get into Ake later, but that's why I wouldn't risk Ake, because I do think he will have a lot of usage later in the season. Walker, I think that's less of an issue when we've got a player like Akanji there. Just a very specific use case against Real Madrid.
I'd only have Walker, though, if he's fit, and that he has not had a full training session since he's been back. He's done partial and a bit with the group and had his own programme. I think it was about 8 days or something or other. So I personally wouldn't start him unless he's absolutely fit and firing, which I don't think he's going to be. I get all the reasons why people want to play Walker for these specific games, but not if he's not fully fit and fully sharp. And we've seen him play with a hobble before, and I can't think who that was. He kept trying to play. It's just not going to help anybody, I don't think. And Akanji is more than good enough, and we're at home. Away, I might be a bit more on board with it, but I think we'll be fine with Akanji if Walker's not fully fit.
But John, which other games would you play Walker instead of Akanji for the rest of the season? Like, which other, you say you won't risk him, but which games do you need Walker for the rest of the season?
If he's fit for Chelsea, the FA Cup, because they've got pace, maybe Chelsea, but I'll be honest, I'm starting Akanji above Walker in any meaningful game, maybe other than Madrid if he was fit. But if he's not fully fit, I play Akanji. And for the other games, Fulham, Wolves, whoever, I'd play Akanji ahead of Walker. What about you? How about you?
You're right. There are some games that suit Walker. I think it's just a shame that Madrid, Chelsea, and Brighton are bunched together, because I think they're 3 games that would really suit Walker. Whether he's ready to play those 3 in a row, I'm not too sure yet. But yeah, look, I'd agree with. Sorry, you said you're in agreement. You'd rather have Walker start this game. Is that right?
I would start Walker. I would start Walker.
This is just another one of those epic little battles we have in the war with Real Madrid. Like the ones that stand out for me is Vinicius and Kyle Walker. The other one is Carvajal and Jack Grealish. Same battle, but just under completely different dynamics. Because different styles of play and different methods of defense. So I do hope to see it, because I think it's going to be a major piece of another epic showdown that we've had with the Kings of Europe, basically. And I think I could speak on a lot of football fans, especially the neutrals, that I think from now on it looks like most of us are hoping that we get a City Real Madrid most seasons now in the Champions League, because you're just going to have an epic battle of the 2 best teams in Europe, in my opinion.
But I understand what's Tone's saying, because like Tone's saying he wants to bench Walker because of him not being able to play 100%, like limping around the pitch. I understand that. I don't want Walker to be limping or playing at a 70%. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But I would risk him. If he can play on the pitch, play 100%, and then maybe break down at some point, I would still risk him. And I think Tone would as well. It's more about him being able to play to his full potential. Because if he's limping, not being able to full sprint or like 5 meters or 1 meters of pace, I think that's what's Tone coming from. Then he would rather start Akanji due to that. Not because he doesn't want to risk him. And the dogs agree with me.
Oh god.
No. Yeah, the dogs are agreeing. The dogs have a very clear view on this, is that Walker and Akanji and who plays right back depends on the overall mix of the defence. Because in recent weeks we've seen Lewis, Akanji, Guardiola and Stones, no matter what happens, they cannot help themselves but going up into midfield or onto the wing. And we saw against Palace that very often Rodri was just having to play at centre-back because Diaz was the only player who stayed back. All the other defenders pushed on, and City were left against Palace really exposed. And because basically Lewis, Akanji, Guardiola at Stones, as 4 players, they all push up. And we had 3 of them playing against there. So for me, if Ake's playing, I'm a lot less worried about a Kanji right back. But if Guardiola's playing and we play a Kanji right back and we play Stones in the middle against Madrid, we can't afford to have, and this almost happened with their second goal when really only Akanji and Diaz were semi-back against Madrid, and they caught us on the break because Stones was 20 yards in their half. So for me, if Guardiola's playing, which looks fairly inevitable, then I'd prefer Walker, because then at least we can have Walker and Diaz back and it gives us a chance to defend on the break. If we go Akanji, Stones, assuming Stones is fit, and Guardiola, the three of them won't be able to help themselves, and we will be left with Diaz on his own, and possibly Rodri, and they haven't got the pace to deal with Madrid. So I think I look at the whole mix of the defence, not purely at that one position.
Palmer 4 goals now.
People said comments to that super chats as well. Alan is working this evening, morning. It's morning in Australia. I always forget that one. Their stadium is got to say there is a couple of super chats as well that have come in. Punet, thank you so much. Very, very kind of you. Why does 115 only comes up when we are doing good? You've just answered your own question there, mate. Because we're doing good. When we're doing bad, you never hear about 115. Daniel, thank you for renewing your channel membership for a 9th month. You are a legend, sir. Thank you. And Sean C, member for 7 months. Thank you for your renew as well. Really impressive. Now, Tom Betts did ask that as well. Aki or Gabardio? See, I'm weird because I've gone with Walker on. I would play Walker. And as much as I am probably the world's biggest Nathan Aki fan, I even gave him my player of the season last year over Haaland. I'd have Gabardio right now because the man is in form.
Yeah. And also, like, risking Ake, who has he's more injury prone than Walker is. I think we would need Ake for other matches. I would definitely start Guardiola. Been immense, scoring 2 goals now, 2 bangers. And he's a young player. Like, dropping him right now would dent his confidence. And I think he should be rewarded with probably one of the biggest games of the season. Definitely, I would definitely go with Guardiola.
Yeah,
I agree.
Definitely. Yeah. I said before, I don't think that risking a further injury to Walker is necessarily the worst thing in the world compared to Ake, where it probably is, because we will need him in future games. The Gvardia was fantastic at the Bernabeu. He's just so secure in possession, helps us get up the pitch. His relationship with Phil Foden is fantastic on that left-hand side as well, and the same with Jack Grealish. And he's developed this goal threat as well. So they've obviously witnessed it firsthand. So that's going to force them to back off a little bit more. So I think that it's probably it would be the more like conservative defense-based approach to start Ake, who is better defensively. But Gvardio just offers us so much, especially on the ball. It's ridiculous. And even defensively recently I think he's upped his game, to be fair. So yeah, it's got to be Gvardio for me.
Just to respond back to Charlie, Pep won't risk him, Martin. We can't afford to lose him for the rest of the season. But what game do you risk Walker in? Because any time when Walker starts, so say it's Chelsea, still his first game back, you're still risking the injury then first. You've got to get over the hump at some stage. Just my issue with KDB you've got to play him at some stage. Well, we can't just sit behind this, never play them for the rest of the season.
Yeah, there's doctors there.
Yeah. Sorry, you go, Rich.
So I was just going to say there's doctors there, and the doctors and the physios will know. I mean, they'll know, not that it's risk-free, but they'll know whether they're taking a terrible risk or whether they're just taking a moderate risk on him starting, and that Walker will know. And so I think, at some point they'll take a risk, but they'll know how big a risk it is.
Yeah, I think Pep made a comment, didn't he, about, obviously he'll make the final decision and they won't risk Walker getting injured for any of the further part of the season. So he'll bear that in mind. But I was going to agree with something Nobbin said, and I can't remember what I was going to say. I completely lost my train of thought. So sorry, but Nobbins, you said something and I went, yeah. And then I've completely forgot. But whatever it was, spot on, mate. Spot on.
Love that from you.
Cheers. Sorry, completely lost my train of thought.
It's a weird one with Walker. I just find, people. I think Walker's been okay this season. I don't think the what's the word I'm looking for? Tactics have suited Walker. I think Pep is partly to blame on the Walker situation a little bit, because we all moaned last season when he was doing overlapping fullbacks. Anyone remember the Newcastle game last year, the 3 each? And he was doing the same thing then, and then everyone was like, well, what? Pep's the one who wants to persist with the Walker situation. Just when you play him as just a right back, I think he's perfectly adequate and one of the best at it. When you start asking him to put in bombing crosses and to Haaland and everyone else, you start risking it. But to me, that's always been on Pep for me. And maybe I'm giving Walker an out. I don't know, but I think Pep's more to blame on that than Walker, because Pep keeps persisting doing him to do that.
No, it is Pep's fault in the same way it's Pep's fault he plays Alvarez in midfield, but at the same
Exactly,
time,
that's my point. Yeah, it's unfair to blame Alvarez for the midfield.
Yeah, and it's not a case of scapegoating Walker or scapegoating Alvarez, but at the same time, it's not untrue to say that they've not been great this season. Walker's not been great this season. Whoever's fault it is irrelevant. What's relevant is whether he's been good or not. The context of that isn't the point. I'm not having a go at Walker. I like Kyle Walker, but he's not. But he has been our worst player.
Depends how you play.
I think we're all in agreement. It's when right wing back Walker comes. It's when it's right wing back Walker. That's when we all cringe. When it's right back, it's like, that's
right wing Walker. No, no.
I agree.
I've seen Walker get stick. Yeah, I've seen Walker get stick when he's just been putting in a cross on the byline, and then he's not in position for the opposition break, and something goes down his side, and it's like, well, no one, not even Usain Bolt's going to get back and get that when they're 50, 60, 70 yards out of position, and they're out of position because they've been told to be out of position. So in that sense, some of Walker's not great play isn't his fault, and it's not bad form. It's just tactically you cannot defend if you're near the corner flag on the opposition goal.
Yeah, Kyle Walker should never be crossing a ball. People on this panel can cross a ball better than Walker.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
It's not 2017 anymore. He's not got that in his locker anymore. Sadly.
No.
Yeah. Is anyone expecting any major surprises in the squad? Because to me, I look at Grealish on the bench, Haaland on the bench. Oh, sorry, Grealish on the bench. Yeah, I don't know why I said Haaland.
For the Madrid game.
No, that's what I mean. To me, I think you look at the bench, he was rested. Rodri was.
Oh, I thought you said for the Madrid game you would bench Grealish.
That's what I thought you said.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I know you have wild takes, Martin, for that one. Come on.
By your word, Martin. Come on.
Not as good as my sweet left foot, but never mind. No, the point is, anyone expecting any major surprises in the lineup?
No, I don't.
Oh,
no,
Pep to pull a Pep, as I like to call it.
I see it being very similar to the game at the Bernabeu. The only difference being probably Edison coming back into the team, probably Walker coming back into the team, as we've discussed,
and Kevin.
And De Bruyne, who again would have played, but he was vomiting or something. Yeah. So I see it being very similar outside of those selections, which he couldn't pick due to injury.
So on that, so who do you think would have played in Madrid? Do you think it was Kevin for Kovacic or?
I think so, yeah. And maybe that's why Kova looked so out of sorts in a way, because obviously they wouldn't have prepared for Kovacic starting. Then all of a sudden he's starting, and it didn't look quite right, maybe.
But
it was Kevin for Kovacic.
Kevin for Kovacic.
Yeah, sorry. That makes sense.
And when you factor that in about Kovacic as well, too, you can't really. I think you'd actually have to say, people say, "Oh, he had a bad game," or he wasn't up to it. I think, given on such short notice, kind of actually got to accept the fact that it actually wasn't too bad in the end. Because they would have had that game plan for days on end, and all of a sudden he's thrown into the melting pot of the Bernabeu. And I know he's got plenty of experience in the Bernabeu, but even the most experienced midfielders are still going to take him time to adjust in game or during the game. And when you think about it, actually, it didn't necessarily make too many mistakes, and actually was quite consistent in the way that he played, given the circumstances.
But going back to it, would we see Kevin and Foden in midfield for this game then? Or are you expecting Foden on the right and Bernardo in the midfield? Because that's one of the things I will be looking at. Because I would love to full send it with Kevin and Foden in midfield. When we have Stones and Bird, just go. Bernardo and Chris on the wings. I think that is our best team. And it's about time we play our best team like that. Show us, go for it. I think it will be amazing.
Cole Palmer,
Bernie on the right.
By the way,
another one for 5, 6 or what?
Scored another penalty.
Oh yeah, he's on 4. He's on 4. Yeah.
Yeah, penalty.
Do you actually think that? I mean, I'm still not convinced that De Bruyne and Foden in those two positions play their best when they're together. I think you take De Bruyne's best 4 or 5 games this season there when Foden hasn't been playing in midfield, and Foden's best 10 games probably when De Bruyne isn't playing in midfield. I think they take each other's space, and they haven't yet worked out how to do it together. And actually, even though you lose a bit from Foden if he goes to right wing, Bernardo can play with De Bruyne. Bernardo knows how to fit with him and to make it work. I just think as yet we've never seen them really work together in that position behind the striker. They take each other's space.
The thing is, they will take each other's space, and not just Kevin adapting or playing a little bit further backwards. Because I think playing Foden in the 10 and playing in the pockets and allowing Kevin to dictate tempo, which he did against for the Luton game. Like he went and the past game, I think so, right? He went further back than normally and dictated the game from the back line, which like a quarterback, which I think would be perfect. When you have Stones and Rodri beside him and just Foden a bit further up, I just think that is our best weapon. I think it's the best football.
Yeah, it should work. I mean, they are the two. I wouldn't swap them for anyone in any league in those positions. But I just think generally, and even against Luton, that's when Foden didn't play, and it just seems that they both excel when they're given that a lot more freedom and to roam, and they do that better when the other one's not playing. That said, we want Foden in the middle because he's better there than he is on the wing, and there's no reason it shouldn't work. And I think your point about if De Bruyne does come back a bit and just play, more like, not like Rodri, but more like with him than with Haaland, maybe that makes a difference and he uses a slightly longer ball. But I suspect we'll see Bernardo going into mids and Foden right, because Bernardo can fit with anyone. That's his superpower.
I think key could be John. Sorry,
go on, Tom.
I was just going to say, I think the key, I mentioned it then, is John Stones. I think if he, excuse me, can come in and help Rodri, that allows that more breadth of room for De Bruyne and Foden there in the middle to play that way. John Stones is one to keep an eye on as well, because he's another one who has not done a full training session since. So it'll be interesting because they've got an open training session tomorrow if he's there from the start. Hopefully he can play. And I think if he plays, Foden and De Bruyne can play that role, play the middle.
A few people asking about Diaz, and maybe they wouldn't play Ruben on Wednesday night and go with Akanji. So you still play Walker, but you have Akanji instead of Ruben Diaz.
Yeah, it can make sense.
Yeah,
like it can definitely make sense due to like the pace of the forwards of Real Madrid. Definitely, I think it will depend on how we play and how high a line. But Diaz is just like, he's a general in that defense, and he's so important for our solidity in the back. And if we need to defend, like we don't have a better defender in the box than Diaz. So that will be a big call if he decides to drop Diaz. You asked about before, Martin, what would be a big call. Dropping Diaz for this game would be a big call. But at the same time, not playing Akanji, who's been our best defender this season and been immaculate, it's also a really big call. And we have to play. If Stones is fit, we have to play Stones. So pivotal to how we play. So yeah, big calls to like in the defense, definitely.
The problem
Diaz didn't play.
Diaz.
Sorry, Rich, you go, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say that
you were first.
Diaz, he's the only player who is an out-and-out defender. Every other one, you know, to an extent, Ake as well, to be fair. All the others are defenders, but really we want to be number 10s and we want to push up. We want to do things on the other pitch. Diaz is the only one who wants to stay back on the halfway line, who wants to defend, who gets his joy from defending. And he is the general. I just thought against Liverpool, regardless of form, we just lacked a personality without Diaz there to organise and shout and stay back. And so I kind of think he has to start, and you have to drop one of the other potential 4 or 5 who can play, because we need that. We just need one person who just their life is defending and shouting and organising in there.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rich. That's pretty much exactly what I was going to say. I think we missed Diaz at Anfield. I think he's the man at the back, the one he keeps calm, he's in control, or he appears to be the one in control at the back. He's got to play tomorrow, I think. I love Akanji, and I'd rather him play right back. But yeah, Diaz has to start for sure.
Should we factor in the next fixture if we play as well too? Because I think whether, you know, if we get through and whether we play Bayern or whether we play Arsenal, I feel like if the first fixture is away from home, I'd rather have Ruben Diaz for that than if it was the first fixture, the first leg.
It is away from home.
Yeah, it is away from home. Yeah, so if there is an opportunity for Diaz to come off in 60, 70 minutes and he still hasn't got a yellow card, then I would be okay with that. As long as it's not like, you know, we're only maybe a goal ahead and Real Madrid are putting us, you know, trying to put us to the sword. It might be a different story, but you know, if we can execute our game plan, I'm not expecting a repeat of last year, but I think if we can execute our game plan correctly, I think we might be able to do a little bit of man management, smart man management. Like, I'm not expecting, like, you know, Diaz to come off and then, you know, replace him with Sergio Gomez or something like that. I expect like maybe Nathan Ake, if he's fit, to come on and, you know, just, you know, lock things down, you know, for the remainder of the game. But if we can protect Diaz for the next round of fixtures, depending if we make it, I'm more than happy with that.
Joe Pat, I think you'd have to be 5-0 up to game manage against Madrid. You'd have to be 5 up with 5 minutes to go. We've seen they can score 2 goals in injury time.
Oh, you can't, for the demander, Rich.
You can't, yeah.
Not at the Etihad though, Rich. They've never beaten us at the Etihad. Remember that one?
No.
Charlie just put Kyle Walker just posted Instagram back in training, guys.
Good.
Good.
Should we talk a little bit about Real Madrid? Because I did pay a little bit of attention to their match in the weekend against Mallorca. And obviously, with the big talk about them defensively is, you know, they're going to be without Tchouaméni because of suspension. But I did notice in their match, Antonio Rudiger, who obviously played the full 90 and actually played a pretty decent game. Never mind marking Haaland, he did play a pretty decent game for them. He's probably one of their best on the field. But he played a full 90 against Mallorca as well. So did Nacho, their veteran centre back. He played a full 90, and Eder Militao came on for the last, say, 5-10 minutes of the match. So I'm curious to know what exactly their plan is going to be in terms of who they're going to play at centre back. At the moment, I would probably say it'd be Rudiger and Militao. But again, we thought the same thing too when we came into the second leg last season, and he ended up not playing Rudiger at all. So I really don't know what to expect from them. You know, if they're going to play some sort of wild card, you know, centre back pairing, or, you know, what are some of the midfielders going to do? I mean, you looked at the first leg. Like, Toni Kroos was probably, you know, probably had just as good a game actually working as almost like a provisional defender as he did playing a midfielder. He actually had a really good defensive game. So I really don't know what to expect from these lot. But it's got to be Nacho and Rudiger. Militao's played 5 minutes in 7 months. He's come back from a cruise ship. There's no way Militao's going to be playing 10, 15, 20, half an hour for a month. He's not going to be playing 90 minutes probably this season. So I don't think they've got any choice but Nacho and Rudiger.
Yeah,
it's a big call playing those, because that'll now be 3 straight games where Rudiger's played like 90 minutes, and Nacho is a veteran centre back for them. I don't know if he's played that many minutes that consistently in recent months. So I'm just curious to see what their pairing is going to be and how they're going to execute it.
They don't have a choice. They're the only two senior centre backs they've got.
Yeah. So again, that's another reason why we. Sorry, man. Just quickly, it's another reason why we should look out there. It's like any Blues out there. If you're nervous about this, think about what Real Madrid fans are going through. They never wanted this when the draw came out. They never wanted 3-3 after 90 minutes last week, knowing that they're going to come back to ours. So always look. If you think you're nervous, think about what they are, because I think they're going to be a lot more nervous than what we are.
Big massive thank you from Doors to Doors with your £5 super sticker. Thank you, mate. You're a legend. Nobbins, what are you expecting any surprises from Madrid? Because obviously no Tushimena. There's been rumours like the lads are saying over Nacho.
Yeah, I think that Pat Rich have covered it. To be fair, it's out of necessity. It's unless there's some weird spanner in the works, it's going to have to be Rudiger and Nacho, and that's good news from a City perspective. It seems Rudiger's had has now had 2 very good games against Haaland. So I would maybe like to see Haaland latch himself onto Nacho, who is not a bad defender by any means, but historically does occasionally have an error in him. For example, he's certainly not as physically imposing. He's not up for it as much. I think Rudiger's a little bit, in a good way, a little bit mad to his benefit, a bit crazy in the way he sort of defends. He's clearly up for the challenge in the individual battles with Haaland. So I'd like to see, Haaland, as I say, latch himself onto Nacho and try to, when the balls inevitably get pumped up to him, try to beat him in respect of his duels, whether it's aerial or on the ground. That could maybe be an extra area of weakness for Real Madrid and an area of strength for us. And then just touching on the Foden De Bruyne conversation that we're having before, I like the idea of Foden De Bruyne. Yeah, I like the idea of Foden De Bruyne being in the middle, but you've got to think about how we set up without the ball. If they're both in midfield, one of them will have to be in midfield without the ball next to Rodri. And I don't think that a must-win against Real Madrid is the game to do that in it. I don't think we've done that all season, in fact, where Foden's played in the pivot with Rodri. De Bruyne has not done it this season either. I'd rather we do something similar to what we did in the Newcastle game, De Bruyne's comeback game, where Foden was technically on the right wing, but actually there was a lot of fluidity and rotation between them. So sometimes De Bruyne would pop up on the right, sometimes De Bruyne was on the left, in like the Pirlo position. Yeah, that's how he scored the winning goal. And likewise, Foden was like drifting around again, sometimes on the right, sometimes in the middle. So I think that's hard to defend against. That's personally what I would like us to go with. I think Rich said he wanted Bernardo in the middle, and I think I agree with that.
But wasn't that the game where Walker pushed way up on the right wing, allowing Foden to go central as well? Because we can't have Walker pushing up on the right wing in this game against Vinicius.
He didn't do that in that game. No.
He didn't.
So. Not in the one I'm thinking of. Not when De Bruyne came on anyway. He did it initially.
If we're not going with who drops out, because I presume Bernardo and Jack being on the bench at weekend was for Wednesday. So I'm presuming those two go in.
You'd think over, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Kovacic.
I don't mind the KDB, because maybe it was me, maybe I'm watching the game, but I thought KDB went a little bit deeper sometimes in that game on Saturday.
Oh yeah, he was definitely quarterbacking against Luton.
People will say it's only Luton. I know that line will come out and it's only Luton and KDB can do that. But if you say to Foden, you be the 10, like you just said, put Kevin as... Because the thing is with Kevin, he doesn't really have a role, as in, you're an 8, you're a 10. He just becomes a floater within that area anyway. That's why sometimes he's on the right, sometimes he's on the left, sometimes he's covering. So I'm not overly bothered if those two play together. I think they can.
Wasn't there like a quote for a while back about Kevin like being able to go further back on the pitch as while he's getting older and play from there, like adapting a bit to his age? Wasn't that like a quote or something? Someone did
then Pep said. Well, Pep also said, he's always going to be a forward for me. He's never going to come back. But
that's true.
Exactly. He's playing him for, and then Doku's another one that's come up. This is the problem. Listen, I think you play Doku as a sub, and you impact him coming off later on with a tired defense.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Because we're going to have better options off the bench than what Real Madrid will have. For me, that can hurt. You have Alvarez, Doku, Oscar Bob, even whoever on the bench, you can come on and change it if we need to.
A good substitution duo would be like Doku, just to have a bit of a go at say maybe Carvajal's tired legs, and then Ake as well too, just to keep Valverde at bay as well, because their link up on the right hand side is quite deadly, quite dangerous. But if we do have the ascendancy, with 10, 15, 20 minutes to go, I like the idea of having those two on the left side, just because you get that combination of locking everything down at the back, but then just that little bit of creating that little bit of uncertainty because of his raw pace and just how quick he is off the blocks with Doku.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That you said about surprises, I would be if Doku started. I like Doku, but I would be very surprised if he lines up to start on Wednesday. Very.
Oh no, I just can't see him starting. He screams super sub if anything.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Because obviously, we'll say this. I'm just going to come, Matt Fag, I'll come to you in a minute because, again, you're a superstar. Someone's asked Haaland and Alvarez.
Haaland, not a question. Not a question for me.
Oh, yeah. It's not even a debate. Yeah.
No.
In my view.
Yeah. And even just for him.
Foden doesn't score that goal if Alvarez is on the pitch. That's what I'd say to that. Like people undersell what this guy gives the rest of the players on the pitch. Does he have to score a goal? Even when he's not scoring, he's still contributing massive value to this team. He just pins the opposition back. You see how deep Real Madrid were at times just from our goal kicks because they had to be deep because Haaland's there. And Alvarez is a very good player in a different way. I like Alvarez a lot. He's been misused a lot this season. No, it's got to be Erling. It's got to be.
Now, that would surprise if Haaland doesn't start. That would be an almighty surprise.
I'm known for having weird takes, but I would also be surprised if Haaland doesn't start this game. Just to pinch them back will be massive, and that's what we're going to need. We have to pinch them back at our place and just bring it to them, and then have Walker and whoever Akanji Diaz in the middle to swoop up with Rodri and just impose our game.
I did get an update earlier as we've been live. Pamela Stones did train today.
That's big.
Team training?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice. It's good. It's very good.
Yeah, the stuff I had on Walker, I tweeted out a couple of hours ago, was Walker partial training as planned. Stones some work also. So, yeah, same with you, Martin, with Stones, yeah.
So, it's, Haaland needs a big game on Wednesday. To me, I'm in LB's camp. He was scoring goals. I'm an happy bunny. I'm not. I think he'll learn the other stuff as he gets older. Do I think he does need to do a bit more tracking back and a bit more work? 100%. I agree with people who say he does need to work harder, 100%. But I think we forget he's only 23. He will develop that as he's going along. It took Aguero 18 months to learn that at his age. And they even had a massive fallout because Aguero didn't want to learn that. And he was like, please, I don't want to learn it. Let me be a striker.
I always said, Mark, if you got a problem with it, then you fans should have been kicking and screaming more for Harry Kane when we had the chance to get him.
Yeah, I think he does track back. He ran down Vinicius and
that was great. That was probably one of
our midfielders.
Yeah.
So I think he works. I think he works hard. I think he's just not mobile enough, and he's never going to be mobile enough to do the Bernardo kind of Alvarez, Gabriel Jesus type pressing. He's just not built to do it. So I think, but he works hard. He's always back helping us defend set pieces. He runs down wingers because his straight line pace is as quick as anyone in the City team. Probably the quickest. Maybe I don't know about Doku, but he's not the fastest necessarily getting up to speed. But once he's at speed, he's as quick as anyone. And he works hard. He just pulls around the opposition's attack. The problem is he's just too often 2 or 3 players on him, and Pep's tactics is to use the space, not to try and get the ball to Haaland, and then Haaland gets the blame, whereas Pep's probably thinking, brilliant, we're playing 11 against 8 because Haaland's taking 3 players. Foden, Bernardo, Grealish, go fill your boots.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Haaland's movement. Nothing wrong with his movement whatsoever. I think people look at him and say, oh, he's quiet. Well, he's got 2 centre-backs at least on him. Occasionally, they throw a right and left back on him as well. He is as key to, and Nobbins touched on it earlier, to people scoring around Foden and all the rest of them having room. He is as key to play, and that is why he must start, because both Real Madrid centre-backs will be marking him throughout tomorrow. Wednesday.
Fog, you are a legend, sir. Every single show you are throwing 10 memberships out and super chats. I keep saying it. Save a little bit of money for yourself, mate. Come on. You are a legend. Thank you so much. And big up to the people who've received those 10 gifted memberships as well. You are a legend.
W's in the chat.
But yeah, Chelsea are 6-0 up, so they're sending out a statement for Saturday. Are you saying
scoring too many goals right now?
The problem is, Connor, what was the point in then resting Jack and Bernardo at the weekend then? There was a reason Bernardo and Jack never got on that pitch on Saturday. And for me, it was all about Real Madrid. And for me, Doku is just, he could do. This is the problem. When we have a squad we've got, some do have to miss out on certain games. And this is why I've always said, we have to be doing this. Want to start him and start him and start him. This is the problem Mahrez fell into. Some players don't want to play Sheffield United in a semi-final as Mahrez. They want to play Real Madrid. But Doku's only been here. He's young. He's learning. He'll be happy with that at the moment. If he's in that position 6 years down the line, different conversation for me at that point then. Because then you are saying, why am I not starting 6 years down the line? I just think I don't see a world where Bernardo and Jack don't start on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah. It's too soon for Doku. It's too soon for him. Great player. He's going to be fantastic. I think he could become one of the best wingers in the world. But, and he's actually done well this season. He's done a lot better this season than I thought he was going to do. But
he's improved massively.
Yeah, but history tells us that under Pep at City, every single one of our wingers has needed at least a season to properly embed into the side and learn the style of play. Every single one.
When is the match going to start? 8 p.m. Wednesday UK time, mate. Won't be live on air because I'll be at the ground. Few people are talking about Rudiger. He gives me nightmares. That's my biggest concern because I hate Rudiger. Every time he plays Manchester City, someone comes up with a broken leg, arm, audible bone, everything. We just die under Rudiger.
Yeah.
And he sometimes
plays like Ferran Maldini too.
He plays well against us. I don't know what it. He just raises his game, and it's just
He does give praise. He does give praise to City in a way too, because he says the toughest attacker he's ever marked was Aguero, which says a lot.
Game recognizes game.
Because Aguero had that low center of gravity. That was
he said he doesn't like marking players with low center of gravity.
Yeah. He'd get the ball and turn on a sixpence and gone and leave you, and you're like, hang on, he was here a minute.
Yeah, Van Dijk said the same. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to throw, because people like to say, you said it, I like to throw a spanner in the works. I like to throw my wild takes out. And this is not me knowing it, I'm just throwing it out there. Would anyone go false 9? Just throwing it out. This is not a Rodri at centre-back moment before everyone in the chat kills me.
Fires in the chat. Fires in the chat.
I'm just...
I kind of get where you're coming from, Martin, because... I try to think of it a way in like if we saw a false 9 lineup come out, the only people in the Etihad that would be more confused than the City fans would be Ancelotti and the Real Madrid squad, because I'm sure they'd be prepping for Haaland to start.
I knew I'd get killed. It's only a question before they get killed in the comments.
Like it's wishful thinking, but my God, I reckon we'd confuse the hell out. I mean, I'm sure they'd have an idea of maybe there would be a false 9 idea, but surely not. But I just like the idea of it possibly just, throwing a spanner in Madrid's works more than anybody. So, which is ideal, which is what we want more than anything.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it, but no. Yeah.
No, the only reason I'm asking it, Madrid are unbeaten. They've lost one game in the league. They've been away to Napoli and won 3-2. Now, I know it's not the Napoli of season past. I was going to say seasons past, like they've been doing it for years. Season past. Been away. They are undefeated in the Champions League, I believe. They won away at Braga. They won away at Union Berlin. They won away in Leipzig.
Wait. Yeah, the Leipzig game, don't credit them with the win. That was
very lucky.
Robbery all over that. That was disgusting. Don't count that as a win.
Yeah. Basically, mate, if you didn't see it, there was an offside. There was an offside call. There was an offside call on a Leipzig player that was similar to the Liverpool Spurs game.
Also, Vinny should have had the red in that game as well.
Yeah, for the hands.
Well, to be fair, Bellingham shouldn't be playing on Wednesday night because
he shouldn't. No. Him and Kevin shouldn't be playing, but we also want to play the best players.
The reason
he wasn't playing at Madrid, he wasn't playing in the Bernabeu either.
Yeah, it's true.
He was auditioning. The only thing I thought is maybe he wants to get United, and Fernandes is, leaving because he was channeling the emotional state of Bruno Fernandes all game.
Yeah.
Someone's put it was a question, and then Elliot's come up with Haaland not fully fit. What do you mean Haaland not fully fit?
I think he's saying if he wasn't fully fit, it would be.
If not fully fit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there you go with the Fires. The only reason I'm asking because obviously we have got a very good record against Real Madrid, especially more at the Etihad than we do. We have never been beaten at the Etihad by them. We've drawn with them a couple of times, but this is our record of the Etihad. We drew one each. We drew 0-0. We beat them. Well, no, that was away. We beat them 2-1, beat them 4-3, and then we beat them obviously 4-0 last season. Is anyone, I'm going to ask this, is anyone thinking this could be an extra time and penalty job?
Of course it could. I mean, it's Real Madrid and it's a one-off game. That game in Madrid doesn't mean anything now. There's no away goals anymore. So it's a one-off game. And anyone counting Madrid off in a one-off game, man, they haven't been watching football for the last many years. So it can be anything. But I do think that me and the whole panel here is very confident in our team and our club due to what we've been going through the past many years now. Can it happen? Of course. Will it happen? Probably not.
If Madrid get a hot start, then we might struggle just to get back up to catch up to them, and it may go to extra time. Which I think if it does that, then we've only got ourselves to blame.
I copied Big Steve earlier on a show and said 3-1, so I'm sticking with that. 3-1 City.
See, I've gone 4-1. I've got big.
I'm not even surprised. I love you, man.
I actually think 7-0. It's not that bad, side. Behave.
No, I'm probably going to say the same. But I like
this is where you got it wrong, Martin. You didn't say 3 goals. We only scored 3. Nothing more, nothing less. But
I just think the home atmosphere, with everything that is, because I think I'm hoping, touch wood, the atmosphere will be like it was last season at the Etihad when we played Madrid. It was a cauldron. Vinicius still talks about it to this day. How we're not expecting it. And I think the early goal, if we can get that early goal in the first 5-10 minutes again, I think they're in for a long night, Madrid. Because they'll start going flashbacks to last season. Here we go again. And we cannot give them a second on the ball. We've got to make it the most intimidating place in world football.
If we can do that first 20 minutes like we did in the semi-final, where 20 minutes in, they think they only had like 15 completed passes, they're going to be automatically like, oh God, here we go again.
But main difference this time, they're going to be expecting this. Like we caught them off guard last season, so.
Did see this, sorry, I noticed. I got told this the other day, but I didn't say anything because I didn't believe it. He did go over to the bench in the 54th minute and stood there looking at someone.
Who was that?
Haaland.
Oh, okay.
I don't know whether he was expected to come off at that point or whether.
No, he did have yeah, apparently he did have a minor issue, and he did ask to come off. But apparently it is a minor issue. He's full training today. There's pics of him as well, so he's definitely in with the main group.
Because Stones have been playing with painkilling injections for the last 2 games. That was especially in Madrid, and you sat there going, "Well, it kind of does, mate." And I've always said, not saying a knock. I've never been confident he's 100% got back from that foot thing. 100% fully banged at it.
Yeah.
I think there's always been that little bit in his head. There's a little bit of pain there sometimes. And it's one of them, it may come out in 5 weeks, 6 weeks when you get to the end and you hear, well, how many times you heard about Kevin De Bruyne suddenly playing with how many injuries and you never know about it.
I remember David Silva playing about 2/3 of a season with a bad ankle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember that as well too, yeah.
I think a lot of players have injuries now, especially at this stage of the season. Liverpool players were saying, it probably excuses from them, but they were saying, Robertson and all these lads were saying, look, we've all got bloody injuries, we've all got knocks. Haaland's foot's probably still not right, like you said. I think a few of us were on with LB, and someone had heard that he was still having problems with his foot. So yeah, it doesn't surprise at this stage. There will be knocks. Unfortunately, players like John Stones break down far too often and have to come off. That's the issue with him particularly than maybe Haaland.
But there's a month left of this season. It's just about now getting through that month. And like we saw with Laporte, like they will do whatever it takes if we're in touching distance of winning just something like this season. And you can bet your asses on Haaland will be playing on Wednesday. And if we're near the treble, people will be playing with an amputated leg and no eyes to win that again. So, I mean, and Haaland will have the whole summer off because they're not playing in the Euros, right? So, yeah.
Good point.
I'm so glad Norway.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So happy that Haaland plays for a crap national team.
Martin's just happy because he knows Haaland will be in Orlando when he's there for pre-season.
Listen, I've gone a full hour and not mentioned that I will be in Orlando. I normally mention it every stream that I'm going to the going to the pre-season game. You said you're getting one of them beer outs with straws.
You're the only one who's been talking about that.
Muddy Duck, it's lovely to have you back, mate. Alaba looked like a rabbit caught in the headlights at times at the end of last season. I think a number of Madrid players will be not getting much sleep Tuesday.
They'll be scared, no doubt.
Yeah.
No
It
doubt.
made me laugh when I was there and reading about that KDB stuff, that they were poisoning his food. And I'm like, where are we going here with football matches? It's getting a bit too conspiracy theory sometimes.
It's like fireworks outside the hotel just isn't enough anymore.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't stay in Madrid, did we? We stayed on the outskirts because of that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, who was it that set fireworks off at the wrong hotel? Was that where Liverpool were, or Arsenal or someone? And they were at a completely different.
It was their own team, wasn't it? Wasn't it their own team that was staying in it? They set off all the fireworks. I read somewhere they thought it was the opposition. It was their own team that was setting the fireworks off for. And I'm
That's great.
You messed that up. Right, we'll go round, and then I just want to have a very quick 5-minute discussion on. Obviously, everyone's wishing we apparently the league's over. We've won the title, give it up and go home. And that gold trophy we're getting is nailed in the bag. Nobbins, are we going through on Wednesday?
Yes, 2-1. City, victory. We'll be 2-0 up as well. Consolation goal late on. Dominant display. Boom.
I like it. Si, go on. I've said 4-1, but you're going to tell me I'm crazy.
No, I'm not. I think it's a 4-2, but a comfortable 4-2 with a consolation goal in the end. 4-2.
Rich?
Edison's going to get the winning penalty in a shootout.
Some people have put Ortega in that for Wednesday.
I can't handle that, Rich. No, don't do that to me.
Edison, cold as ice. 8th penalty. Top corner.
So the post-match will be 1 a.m. on Wednesday night, everyone, if we're into extra time with penalties, because I'll need an hour to recover. Pat?
2-1 with Jeremy Doku coming off the bench in the last 10 minutes to score 2 goals, just to give Real Madrid a taste of what they did to us 2 years ago.
You've written that, haven't you? You've actually written that whole script in your old head. Tone?
Sticking with 3-1. We'll be 3 up, nice and cruising. We'll let the one in the last 10, give them a bit of a sympathy goal. But I fancy us fairly strongly. Obviously, it's Real Madrid. But I'm getting the feeling, Martin, that we're just starting to get into that rhythm now. Just seeing little signs, and I'm with it. I am buzzing, mate. We're going to lose 5-0 now, and I know people clip this. This knobhead said we'd win easy, but it's no. I'm not saying that, but 3-1, 3-1.
Yeah, no one come to see me because I've said 4-1, so you come and throttle me outside the area. I will not be at the bus greeting. I don't do bus greetings. I've done them before, and my missus told me I'm embarrassing when I'm trying to jump in front of the coach and everything else. It's not a good look. So no, there'll be no Martin at the bus greeting. Might be Mary D.
Stop you from jumping in front of 20 cars at the car park when you leave 10 minutes early every match. Just saying.
Sorry, but were you watching the match on Wednesday night?
With Mercedes.
There you go then. Right, quick then. I'm City won the league because Betfred have paid out, which I find astonishing. They've literally paid out today. 700, $750,000 they're risking here.
What's the gain of doing that?
Fans, they've given it up. They're over with now, giving up the ghost, and City won the league.
Yeah, it's mad. It's never over until it's over. Like, one draw, and suddenly Arsenal are back in it because they've got a better goal difference. And we've got to play Spurs away, and Brighton away, and Forest away. Those aren't easy, certain games. And also, like this season, I think I looked at it earlier, the most amount of games that have been won in a row by either any of the big three has been 8. Arsenal have won 8 in a row. And that's like the best out of Arsenal, Liverpool, and City this season. I think City's record is 6. Premier League wins in a row. So it's the stats from this season tell us that City probably won't win all 9 in a row. It will be 9 after the Arsenal game. So there's definitely room for slippage for City. I actually think every single team's going to drop points, to be honest. I think City will draw somewhere. I think Arsenal, Liverpool will probably drop some further points as well. But yeah, like this loser mentality of it's definitely over. There's nothing wrong with, being a bit deflated and going, oh, we're probably not going to win now. That's fine. But you can't say, yeah, it's definitely over and we're just going to give up. That's like, I don't even know what that attitude is. It sort of encapsulates. Yeah, sorry, Tone, go on.
No, but sorry. I was just going to say that last week, or even less than last week, literally 2 or 3 days ago, Arsenal were flying, winning the title. No one's stopping Declan Rice.
Best team in the league.
Gabriel, best ever centre-backs. Yeah, Raya's now the most improved keeper. Oh, my Lord, they're going to score goals for fun because they put 4 or 5 past whoever. It's the same old routine every single season. We get to this point, and Liverpool unstoppable. Klopp, it's destiny, and all this nonsense always happens. One day, just one afternoon, 4 or 5 hours, City have won the title. It's just crazy. It's
definitely
a Farmers
League. It's a Farmers League.
Farmers League now. Yeah. Like it never was in the 90s and 2000s, but it's a Farmers League.
It's not, but this it's not competitive, but Crystal Palace have gone to Anfield and won 1-0. Can someone? Yeah, they're contradicting themselves with what they're saying.
No, it's not competitive. But all three Sunday matches, the away team won.
We only signed flops in the summer, but now apparently we've got too much squad depth for everyone to deal with. Just changes week to week. It's like, guys, get your story straight, guys. Which is it? Are Doku, Nunes, and Gvardiol flops, or are they brilliant squad depth players? Which is it? They can't both be true.
We're the worst team ever. Yeah, but football is reactionary. We know that now. We know every week. If Arsenal win this week 4-0, who are they playing? They're at Wolves, aren't they? Which is a tough one. If Arsenal win 4-0, then suddenly, Arsenal are back and the rest. And yeah, we know the score.
I love part of Oaks. He just to the point with part. Oh shit! Going out your half with your little story there.
See, this is why I'm moonlighting now, part. I get the freedom to express myself.
Everyone's given up.
No. It's did you say Sai? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, I'm not surprised. It's the same script every season, isn't it? Like they count us out when we reach December and New Year's Eve, and then when we hit March and April, no one can compete. We are an artificial club, dominating, ruining the league, ruining world football, ruining world peace, and I think we just ruin anything. Yeah, I mean it's horrendous, and it's
the cost of living now, and
everything, Gaza conflict, everything is our fault. So yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's a coping mechanism, isn't it? So I'm actually just taking it. In the early years, it got to me, but now I'm taking on the chin. It's like a recognition of how good we are, and we're like on maybe 80% this season of how well we can play, and we're still in for a treble, like a four-peat. That's scary. If I was a fan of another team, I would be shitting my pants, and that's what they are. So they come up with these ridiculous statements, and they know they're embarrassing, but it's a coping mechanism. Like, I don't care. Let's just win everything, and then they can fuck off.
Yeah, I'd be more worried if they weren't talking about us, like you said there. They're talking about us, they're shitting it. And yeah, we're the best. They know we're the best team. And we are, like you said, I think 80% generous, to be honest. I think 60, 70 at best for us this year overall. And we've got loads more to come.
Yeah, we're going to get better next season.
I think this weekend coming could be huge as well, too, because let's not rule out Arsenal and Liverpool have got some tricky fixtures this weekend, with Arsenal playing Wolves away. No slouches. Gary O'Neill, in my opinion, shout for manager of the year, because he's taken what was probably one of everyone's three picks for relegation this season is now, I wouldn't say knocking on the door of Europe, but they were looking at it at one stage in the season. They've got to go Wolves away. Not easy, and we proved that because they ran rings around us when we played them earlier in the season. And then you got Liverpool playing Fulham away at Fulham at Craven Cottage. Not easy either. And Martin, you alluded to it. You think that might be one of the trickiest fixtures we have remaining.
I still stick by Fulham away will be trickier than
could be tricky. Yeah.
Do you know why? Do you know why it is? I know everyone's going to tell me Tottenham. It's where the Tottenham fixture lies. Why I don't? Because personally, I think it'll be over by the time we hit Tottenham. And if it's not, if City have to win at Tottenham to win the league, they win.
Yeah. And the other thing too is I don't know how, especially if Arsenal and Liverpool don't go through in Europe midweek, which is there's every possibility of that happening. I just don't know how I can see them rebounding after what happened this weekend. So there's every possibility that by the time this weekend's done, we could have not played a match in the league and still be ahead. There's every possibility of that happening. So I'll be keeping an eye on those two fixtures as much as what we do at Wembley against Chelsea.
I think Arsenal and Liverpool will drop more points.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazingly exciting week. Sunday night, we could be sitting here out of Europe, out the FA Cup, third in the league, or we could be sitting in the seventh.
That's enough for that. If you're going to do it,
we could be top of the league with a game in hand in the FA Cup final. In the FA Cup final,
dictatorship on full display there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Coventry in the FA Cup final,
out of the league, out of Europe, everything else.
But that's the beauty of this side. That's the beauty of
this.
That's
just Rich being pragmatic, something that you lack sometimes, Martin.
Anything there's so much potential for incredible highs, incredible lows. That's what football's all about. And I just want to know
8-0 every week we're winning it all.
When we play Coventry, who gets Sky?
Is that why you leave early?
How hard's that going to be? Coventry playing in the home kit, and we have to play in our away kit in the FA Cup final. That's what I'm most worried about.
You know what you're doing? You're winding them up. Treble talk is banned until we land into at least two final. If we get to the Champions League final, the FA Cup final, and we won the league, right, then we'll open treble talk. I'm just mentally prepared that we won the treble last year. You now want me to put in my head we're going to win back-to-back trebles that has not been done ever. I'm just, no.
Says the man that's treble father is his profile tag in this chat since January last year.
Anakin Skywalker, thank you. Yes, lads. Big up the panel. I think we'll win comfortably on Wednesday. I'm saying 3-1-2 from Foden. What? 3-1-2
from Foden.
Yeah, 3-1-2 from Foden, a late goal from Haaland to kill the game.
I tell you what, you've got some very smart people in this chat. A lot of them have gone 3-1.
Rich is not one of them.
Spot on.
Yeah. We only scored 3. We only scored 3. So as long as they score less,
2 all pence.
Rich has gone to penalty shootouts and everything. He'll probably say they'll be at my end. I'll have to get my ass out to show everyone or something. So if you see
Rich
a man
wants to win the penalty shootout 11-10 so we can see Edison Berry one.
You are a legend, but please.
No, Edison's coming on 8th.
Mark Fogg, you're a legend. You are, mate. You are the GOAT, Mark. Not me. You are the GOAT, mate. Wise old owl, great stream, lads. Loving all the content, mate. Thank you so much, but honestly, save some pennies for yourself. You are a legend, mate. Honestly, W's in the chat for Mark Fogg and everyone who's contributed tonight. You are all legends. I just believe. I think if City have to win 6 games, this is the position City have waited for. I understand why Arsenal and Liverpool are a bit nervous because it's like you don't give City top of the league with 6 games to go.
Yeah. Another here we go again.
That's something Pep doesn't give up generally. And I know we'll probably have ifs and buts because we've got the game sat there. We may then, obviously drop down 2nd or 3rd or whatever. We then got the Brighton game on the Thursday. Could be the Wednesday, depending on where things land on that. And by the way, big up to City who've actually turned around and said they will refund people if they are not able to get to the game on the rearranged game. So if the Brighton game gets moved to the Wednesday and you can't make it, you will get your money back.
So it will definitely get moved if we go through.
I believe so.
No,
Rich?
No. Only if the first leg is Tuesday night.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
It depends how you
move
stuff around. Yeah.
Well, Rich, fingers crossed, mate, because then that means Brighton will be on Anzac Day, so you can come into the pub for a change.
And I think, Matt Fogg again.
Bloody hell.
Mate, honestly, mate, you're a legend. Thank you so much, Mark. Honestly, you are a legend. But so at the moment, Matt, you are literally subsidizing the whole channel out now. Hey, Rich can get some wages this month,
and not in the form of rations.
You're never getting wages. You're never here. I'm only joking. No, but honestly, we're going to end it there. Really. Everyone who come on, Nobbins will come on again because we're going to get Nobbins back on. I want to get Nobbins on for an FFP chat. Sorry, mate, but I'm desperate to get you on for it.
Lawyer talk.
What fun!
No, because everyone in the chat and the community.
You can wind Martin out so much.
Get Nobbins on. You wanted, mate? No, honestly, but we'll get one side. Come back on, Tone. Thank you so much. We'll come back on. Pat and Rich are here every single week, as you know. And big up to these two and us again for the support they showed me last week, allowing me to have a week off to support my dad, support my mum, my family, etc. But so big up to these legends down there, Pat and Rich and us there. Alan will be back, hopefully post-match. He's working at the moment, etc. Big Steve, I'm going to try and get Big. I know he's been on holiday and then he was on Humour today. I did ask.
He's living live, that guy. He's living live. Wow.
Steve's mega busy.
Going from Madrid to France, man.
We are still discussing the main road show. We are trying to get that main road show up and rolling at some point.
That's good, mate, because I think it needs to be done.
And then obviously you got the podcast coming next season. Martin's Sweet Left Foot.
That's a fucking awesome name.
But yeah,
let's hope we see some similar action on the pitch on Wednesday. So let's just plug in the podcast even more.
Yeah.
By the way, there's been over 1,200 of you tonight in this chat. just on YouTube, over 1,200 of you. So big up yourselves. Smash that thumbs up. Massive thank you for the support of the channel. It really does mean a lot. All the City channels, every single City channel is in the description. Go and subscribe to it. It doesn't matter. They've only got 2 or 3 subs. Go and help them. We're all a family. We are the Blue family. And I like to think we're different than other YouTube communities. We're one family in the City fan base, and I love it. But big up to themselves. Thank you to everyone for joining. And we'll see you post-match on Wednesday, depending on if it doesn't go to penalties. Because if it goes to penalties, we'll have to do it Thursday. And then blame Rich. But yeah, take care all. Thank you to these legends. And we'll see you on the next one.
Ciao for now.
Bye, everyone. Bye.